All right. So while we wait till that's loading and other persons to join, can you just quickly give me a summary of where you've reached in social studies?
Sir, I'm trying to find my notebook.
All right.
I think it's in my rooms. Diretamente aqui.
All right. Welcome, Jadalee. Let's give you a moment. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Okay.
All right. So what we're doing today is social studies. What I want you to do, because I am recording the class and I'm just waiting for Brandon to tell me where exactly he stopped. All right, just quickly just go on the site and that's where we're gonna create our notes for today. But I wanted to jog your memory. What was the last thing you did in social studies?
The last thing that we did was functions of the family.
Functions of the family. All right. So when you're on the website, you should see me typing as well as detailing what the process of the notes will be. So functions of the family. Right. Did you complete this topic or did you just begin it? Quickly.
You started it.
You just started it? All right. So let's quickly wrap it up. So I'm going to create it as a to-do and we're going to start the notes for functions of the family. Right. Let me tell you functions of. So is anyone else going to be joining or is just you guys? All right. So write this for me. Functions of the first of all, family is very important. Importance deals with where we want to be in the future. So the function of the family is to rear children in 5 broad definitions. Right? So write this for me. There are 5. Wait, are you on the website?
Still loading.
All right. Just let me know when you're on it. All right. There. So I'm just typing right now to prepare for it. So I'm just saying that the family is really oriented around the fact that they're raising children to become the next generation, to carry the genes, to carry the different beliefs and cultures and traditions, and make a better chance at life. So in order to do that successfully, they need to complete 5 main functions. So there are 5 main functions of the family. All right. It should have loaded up for you. Is it finished now?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So do you see me typing?
No, sir.
All right, what do you see? Do you see something like capture or something like that?
Yes, sir.
Right, so if you see capture, that means you're on a phone. What I want you to do is to look at the top right and you'll see something that says full site. You see something that says full site? Yes, no.
I'm going to do that on laptop instead.
Yeah, you should be on a laptop. That's the best way to really absorb the notebook because you can't really flip pages on a phone. All right. So before we start, I just want to make sure you're on it. So let's quickly go on it and let me just prepare. So let me just cover this up. All right, and I'm gonna give you a diagram. right? So there's 5 main functions of the family. We have a biological reason, right? Because having children is the biological nature of anyone. You need to reproduce, right, to carry on the genes of that family. The economic reason is because the child that you've produced has needs, shelter, security, and to provide those for the child in order to grow up successfully, right? And there's also the cultural function where the child needs to acquire previous information about what were the traditions, what were the beliefs and norms in that family. The social function where you need to you help the child to interact with the society and abroad by giving them a microscopic view, by enabling them to be in a sphere of proper family values, right? So if you have an abandoned home, that's not providing a social function for the child because they're growing up in a household that disorients their view of society, where they feel like the home is broken, that means everyone is broken, and that really never leads to a proper story. So those are the first 4, and then the final one is where you kind of get to see where everyone is lacking in this because we really don't understand emotional support. But the emotional function of a family is to provide love for that child, where you give them attention, support. But most times, often than not, you kind of see a contradiction because even though you provide this love and support, most childs would say that they still don't feel that affection. So that's where the function of the family kind of gets a little bit weary because we really don't understand what love is or what emotions as it relates to raising a child should look like. Everyone understands? So we're going to go through each step by step, but that's a general summary of functions of the family. So is everyone on the website now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do you see now a picture?
Sir,
Uh-huh.
can you resend the link, please?
Sure. Let me just resend the link. So this is going to be your website, right? If you want to add something to the notes that you feel like I missed, just type it for me, right? So your other classmates can see what you think should be there and there for you, so you can make edits together. Let's go here. There's a link. So welcome, Sine, Talia. Welcome. So we're on the function of the family because I was just told that that's where you guys left off, right? So there are 5 main functions of the family. The biological, let me write that. So you're gonna see me typing. Let's label this numbered list. All right, we're gonna say biological. And what do you think biological function of a family is? It's in the name itself, but what do you think of when you hear of biological need of a family? So if a family wants to complete a function, which is the biological function, what does that family need to do in terms of a man and wife? They need to create offspring, right? Because that's a main function, to carry on your genes together in another child. So we're gonna say biological function is to have children and begin a family through marriage. That's the belief, or a partnership. So do you guys see me typing for you? Do you guys see it? Right? So you should be able to type on it as well. You should be able to have the permission to type. Let me just check real quick. Share. Yes. So if you click on somewhere, you can type, but please don't type. But just try to see if you can type. Let me see if anyone is on the website. So let's type something for me real quick. Anyone? First person to type gets $100 virtually. All right. I don't.
Sir, put hi.
Wait, let me see if I don't see it. I don't see it.
I put it right.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you. So we know one person's alive.
Can I have $100, sir?
Here you go. You should see the $100 come up right beside your hi. There you go. I said virtually. All right. So that was just a quick little exercise to see if you guys are using it. So that was the first one, the biological function. Let me highlight it. Let's just highlight this. There we go. All right. Have children and begin a family through marriage or partnership. That's the first function. So the second function is economic. I'm gonna say economic. Now let's just clean this up a little bit. There we go. So the economic function now. So if you're basing yourself in like a person in society, what do you need to survive? What do you need to ensure that you see another day? You need shelter. You need what else? Anyone? What else do you need to survive every day? Food, clothes, finance. So the function of a family is to provide these things. So the economic function is to provide shelter, food, finance, right, and security, amongst other things. Right? Okay, let's go into the next one. Next one is cultural or educational. Cultural/educational. Right? Oh, and I think I should mention, guys, that you can just type along with me if you feel like I'm missing anything or you want to ask a question. Just type the question beside it or anything. Okay? Let me just quickly put one thing here. So the way I normally do it is to put a timer on the sheet to make sure that you guys are timing yourself when you're taking a note. So let me put a timer right here quickly. 20 minutes. We should not take more than 20, but we started early, so we're going to say 15 minutes. We should not spend more than 15 minutes doing these notes. So we're going to say the cultural no, right, is to provide that child with knowledge. So the cultural function, providing the child with the knowledge and education. Right? See if I'm missing anything. Knowledge and education, as well as the belief system of norms and traditions. So it's not just giving them books to study, it's telling them about their history, right? Telling them about their culture. That's why it's cultural/educational. Because giving a child, oh, what's the Pythagorean theorem? That's not the only thing that will help them to survive in society. Telling them how they should act, or how their ancestors came about, right? That's giving them ample information to make a life for themselves, right? Then the final one, well, no, the last two is social function, right? And I discussed this earlier, so I want someone to give me a definition based on what I said earlier. What is a social function? What can you tell the social function means? Anyone? Let me see. Jada Lee. What do you think the social function of a family is? Think of social media without this the phone. Right? She has herself muted, but okay.
Sure.
Oh, she's typing. Okay, good. Continue. Right?
That's not. I'm not Jada, sir.
Jada Lee, I said. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Brandon. So Brandon is typing, saying socialization. Okay, that's kind of close to it. But if you look on the diagram below, you do see the diagram where you're trying to teach your child how to interact with society. This is,
Sir?
yeah?
I'm not sure if you could hear me before. I was saying that basically like socialization, like interacting with other people.
Right, exactly. So you're helping a child to socialize and get the different ethics in conversation to make sure that they can interact with other people without causing a ruckus. Right? So it's learning how to communicate. Learning how to communicate. Communicate both verbally, and non-verbal. So body language. And the final one is going to be emotional function. And this is what I was saying, that we still don't have a grip on effective emotional support for a family. Because remember, each family has different culture depending on where they are. So it's not a case that it's a one-size-fits-all scenario where you can just tell them, oh, do this, X, Y, and Z, and your child will be happy. It's not the case, right? You do have children acting out even when they have both parents in the scenario. So we say that it's just a general definition of providing love. Sometimes it's tough love, right? But in most cases, it's to help that child emotionally. So you do try to provide their basic needs, but you need to provide support. Like, for example, their aspirations, or what they want to be. Don't degrade them and say you can't be that, right? Okay, so that was the 5 functions of the family summarized in less than 10 minutes. Any questions, everyone?
No, sir.
All right, so I'm going to give you a question because I don't believe in that. No, sir. So I'm going to give you a question. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, and you're going to tell me quickly what function of the family does this come under, right? So remember the instruction. Into which of the following, let's go here. So you're going to say exercise. Into which of the following 5 functions does each of the following mentioned fit? Scenario 1. All right, let's see.
Sir, do you want this written in a document?
No, because remember, this is your notebook, so you don't have to write everything. You just have to engage with it and look at it, take your own individual notes after class. So, the first scenario, someone help me with this. Uh-huh.
Sir, can you scroll down on your screen? I'm not able to scroll down on mine.
Are you not able to scroll?
Do you use those 2 little things on the side where you have the 4 arrows? You can scroll up and down.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Right, so scenario 1. Let's highlight this. Comforting a younger sibling when they are upset. What type of support is this? What type of function of a family is this?
Emotional support.
You got it only because I gave you. I'm just kidding. But yes, emotional support. Here's another one. Scenario 2. Scenario 2. A parent shows a child how to A parent shows a child how to prepare for a Christmas celebration. So it's tradition. What type of functional family is that? Based on what we said earlier. So scroll back up, look at the functions. Is it emotional function? Is it cultural function? Correct.
Educational.
Right. So it's gonna be cultural function. Cultural function. Welcome, Janae. Welcome. And this is emotional support. Emotional function. Let's do one more quickly. Scenario 3. Okay. Let's say now a couple is planning to have a child. What type of function of a family is that? Scroll back up. 5, 4, 3, 2. All I heard was how. What'd you say? Biological, right. Biological function. All right. So that's pretty much the gist. We can call that the end of that. So what I'll do, right? I'm gonna close up the notebook now to call that the end, because we practically have a couple minutes to spare. But that's the end of really the function of family. But I want you guys to take this for me, the vocabulary terms. So this is the vocabulary terms. So anytime you see these words, it's talking about the functions of a family. Vocabulary terms. It's gonna be bolded, Right, there we go. Vocabulary terms. All right, the first term is relationships. Siblings. Right? Relationships, siblings, nieces and nephews, emotional support, biological function. Anytime you hear these words, it's giving away that it's talking about functions. And cultural or educational functions. There we go. So what I want you to do now, you're gonna get a little assignment, and I hate the word assignment because students always think it's a bad thing. You're gonna get a fun activity. Let's call it fun activity. Fun activity. And I did provide some feedback for the students that did submit their work yesterday. All right, just check your email. So let's say fun activity. All right, there we go. So we're gonna see now the fun activity. My bad. Oh no, I kind of messed up a bit. Okay, this is vocabulary terms, right? And then this is fun activity. All right, there we go. So this is fun activity. So what you're gonna do for me is, in your opinion, activity. In your opinion. Oh, for Janae, here's the link to the website, right, that we're taking our notes on. You have it at your disposal after to just review and everything. And I should mention that the class is recorded, so you're gonna see the video of the class right at the top of everything. That's how I like to do my classes. Let me just give it a link to the website. There you go. Okay, let's continue. All right, so the activity now is that, in your own words, which is the most important aspect of the family functions? Or present a 1-minute oral presentation exploring your opinion. All right. And yesterday, for those who were here, you do remember something that I talked about: reflective writing. So this now would be a reflective piece. All right. So it's kind of a whole interaction where everything ties in together. So if you were here yesterday, you'll know how to do this. Reflective writing. So you're gonna in your opinion, so it's gonna be a personal opinion, right? You're gonna choose from the 5 main functions, which is the most important, and then on a 1-page essay, present it. It's not gonna be orally, all right? You can just present it in the email. Present and explain your opinion, right? Send to email futuregov@01.com, and the best writing will be posted on the website. All right, there we go. All right, let's continue. So that's the activity that you have due. This is gonna be due, and put the date. It's gonna be due Saturday. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, okay, Google.
Sir, what's your Gmail again?
It's futuregov right here.
You can type it in chat.
Okay, let me copy it and put it in chat. There you go. Futuregov _01@gmail.com. Trust me, I don't know how I got that email. It's very, very presidential. Okay, so that was the 5 main functions of the family, right? When you finish with that, we can move on now, really, to what is under each function. So let's say, for example, we're talking about culture. What exactly is culture? So let's write that. So under everything, let's close these up. Let's close those up. So we're going to look at cultural function. All right, let's go here and put cultural function. What is culture? Anyone? When you think about Jamaica, what comes to mind? Dun 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 dun. I'm just kidding. Anyone? What do you think of when you think of Jamaica in terms of its culture? Let me pick on Brandon. What comes to mind when you think of culture in terms of Jamaica, for example?
Way of life.
All right, way of life. Nice. That's a pretty succinct answer. Way of life. Okay, so I'll actually put that there. Way of life. Now, the culture really is gonna be teaching your child key information and skills that they need throughout life. All right, and the reason why teaching information and skills that they will need throughout life. The reason why this is so important is due to the fact that children are very impressionable. Everybody understands? So that means that they can easily be influenced. In other words, easily influenced. Okay? No, there are some aspects that you can really just accurately cover every ground. So we're going to say that teaching your child these things that will make them not impressionable by others in society are as such. Teaching them religious and beliefs, right? Giving them a proper introduction to their language, right? Don't teach your child patois off the bat. Try to get the English in there as well. Give them high morals and values. And tell them about their customs, like how do you normally behave and where do you come from. So let's quickly put a little indent at each. So let's say, for example, at religious beliefs, right? Who you identify as, giving them an identity, right? How you behave. So when you tell them their accent, their language, and their style of speaking, how they can behave linguistically. It's a very big word for just saying how you speak. Beliefs and morals, who you are as a person, your character / character, and your customs and heritage, who you come from. So these are the cornerstone of making someone in society functional, where they have goals, they attain these goals, and then they create a family. If they don't have a sense of identity, they begin to act out, become rebellious. If they don't know how to speak properly, they can't represent who they are as a person to anyone else. If they don't have characters, and if they have character, morals, and beliefs, right, they'll fall for anything. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, basically what it's saying. And if you don't know where you're coming from, how can you see your destination? So that's basically how socializing your child and giving them proper information as to who their family is can help them develop a way of life. Everybody understand? All right, I think I heard you say, yes, sir, you're very good at this. All right.
I said no.
Oh, you said no. All right, what do you not understand?
Sure, what do you just said all of this?
4166881.
Huh?
What do you just said all of this?
Oh, okay. So I was going through specifically the cultural function, right? Because that was one of the main functions of the family. And we're talking about the fact that just saying that the family needs to provide for the child culturally is very broad. So what exactly are we talking about? We're talking about their religion. What do they believe in? talking about how they should behave in terms of speaking, right? And what morals and values do they hold to make their character. So this is what we're talking about when we say give your child knowledge about their culture, tell them who they are. That's a major crisis in terms of families nowadays, where the father or the mother is an absentee and the child begins to lose their morals because of that. So that's why now the function is very important. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, if you want to access this note, just quickly go beside the bullet point. You're gonna see an arrow. You just click on it. All right. So I'll leave that open so you can take your notes. But then let's continue. So we're gonna go to now the other function of the family that needs some little bit more explanation, which is the economic function. So write this down. In the the economic function. In the typical family style, there is one person that works, and there's one parent. There's one parent that works, and the other tends to the house. And you can guess who that was previously. The male went to work, female stayed and take care of the house, right? Yeah, but that was a typical style or traditional. But now you realize that the way the culture has moved along, it's not so anymore. You have something called parental leave and everything, right? So we're gonna understand specifically what happened in terms of the economic function. What happened in terms of why women are becoming breadwinners. I don't want to put apostrophe, but it's actually true. Why women are becoming breadwinners. So let's answer that question. Because of the technology. So technology has afforded families the ability to have more than one breadwinner. Anyone know what breadwinner means?
Person who provides money.
Right. So over time, we realize that the status of life has improved because of medicine, health, the economy has improved, right? The poverty line has drastically gone up, right? So people have become more succinct to work for themselves in terms of depending on someone else. So in terms of women going on this wave of rebellion, they've decided now, and rightfully so, to become a breadwinner of the family. So in that case, the man at most points starts to have a reduced role, right? So we can say, for example, a family. So the roles in a family would basically need to help the family to survive. So if the man or the woman have a reduced role in the economic function, the man and the woman now have reduced roles in the following. So what were the functions inside the family? Let's look. All right, one moment. That should not be there. Right. Income. We just talked about income. Domestic work. All right, cleaning the house, taking care of the child. All right, so that's one. Let me highlight it. Domestic work. There we go. Next one. Child care. Who do you allow to have your child? Who do you allow to take care of your child when you're not there? Because if both father and mother are breadwinners, right, the child dynamic gets shifted in terms of who is due to take care of the child. Sometimes you have nannies or babysitters, right? So child care gets affected by the new economic function.